Welcome back, everyone. Today we have a post from a person who is struggling with their new job. It's their first job, and they were criticized for something they thought they did right during their training. They're wondering if their trainer is just a jerk and they should just quit and move on, or if they should stick it out. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm on my third day, and I already feel like a slave to the workforce. The first 2 days weren't bad. In fact, the second day was fun. Yesterday, though, I was watching the clock the entire time, felt completely exhausted, and wanted to quit. By the time I got home, I was feeling suicidal thoughts, which I haven't felt in a few years. I took a long shower and just sat down and cried. I felt like I couldn't do anything right. I would do exactly what my trainer told me to do, only to get yelled at for doing it. Put the rag in the sink. I did so, then got yelled at for putting the rag in the sink. This is my first job. Is this what jobs are supposed to be like? Be a jerk to the new person? My trainer was super nice to everyone else, including the other trainees, but was a complete jerk to me. How soon is too soon to quit? Should I speak up about how she's treating me? So, no, this is not what all jobs are like, but before you do anything drastic and just up and quit, just please take a step back and just kind of chill out and think it through. It sounds like you're just kind of having this emotional reaction to what happened more than anything, so I don't want you to quit just yet. The first week of a job is always overwhelming. You're having a ton of new information thrown at you all at once. The trainers are probably stressed out, and on top of that, they're probably being hypercritical and looking for any little thing that shows you that you understand or don't understand, the content of what they're training. When I was in my last job, I spent the first week sitting in trainings, meeting everyone, learning the basics of the job, and by the end of the week, I was like, "There's no way I can do this. I'll never catch on to any of this. I'm getting fired for sure. There's no way." Turns out after the first week, I was able to get into a routine, was able to get more specific training on things because I met with my supervisor regularly, asked a lot of questions, met with coworkers to get advice on how to do things. And when a bit more time passed, I realized this isn't even a hard job at all. It just seemed that way at first because I took in everything all at once, internalized it, and judged my current skill level as incapable. So I wasn't really being fair to myself. First, no one expects you to know the job right away. That's why you're going through training. 2, you can do the job. They believe you can. That's why they hired you. Now you just got to believe it too. When you said you put the rag in the sink like you were told to, and then you were yelled at for putting the rag in the sink, think about how that interaction went. Did it go exactly that way, or is there a possibility that you're projecting your own insecurities into it? One of the most dangerous things a person can do is tell themselves a story, because once they've started down that path, they just dig themselves a bigger and bigger hole. And before you know it, you've started creating characters, things they've said, things they might say. And guess what? It's all just a fictional story. You've made up this whole scenario in your head that didn't actually happen. You created this alternative reality based on your perception versus what actually happened. Now, I'm not saying your trainer was not a jerk. If that's truly what happened, again, they said, like, if they were a jerk and this is what truly happened, throw this rag in the sink, and then that's what you did, and they said, why did you do that? You shouldn't have done that. Then yes, that's a jerk move. If that's the case, then you should speak to them where you can, speak to them where you can just ask, hey, so, earlier you said to put the rag in the sink, and I did, but, you kind of got on my case about it, so I'm wondering, what did I do wrong? See what they say. Maybe they wanted you to do it a specific way. Who knows? But, that's why you ask. You don't just dismiss it and say, you know what, they don't like me. If you do talk to them, though, it's going to be really important to not be emotional, and you don't want to accuse them. You're just looking for information, so just ask in a straightforward, factual way. This is why it's important to understand what really happened before you ask why they quote-unquote yelled at you. If they didn't actually yell, don't say they yelled or you accuse them of it. One of the biggest things an employer is going to look for in a new employee is someone who can't handle any sort of feedback. People that go off on the deep end and can't handle criticism or feedback is a huge red flag for any employer. So you want to make sure that you're thinking clearly before you just start talking about how you feel. Rather, focus on what actually happened. Remember, you're just looking for information, and you're still feeling, and if you're still feeling like you were singled out, you can ask them about that. Use examples. Say something like, hey, I just wanted to talk to you about something. Earlier, you said to put the rag in the sink, and I did, but it kind of came off like you seemed irritated that I did. I was just wondering if I did something wrong. Also, it seems like when other trainees did the same thing, they didn't get talked to like that. So is there something I'm specifically needing to change, or is there just something I need to know? And just approach approach it like that, like more like you're probing for information. If you have a valid concern, definitely you want to address it. Never, sit back and just take somebody yelling at you, But also, if you're not 100% sure, if there's a question about if you maybe perceived it right, then again, ask questions. But, here, do you see the problem? Even when you ask those types of questions, you're still using phrases like "it seemed," because it's just your interpretation and not what happened. The reason I'm sort of highlighting this part a lot is because it sounds like you're in a heightened state of emotional vigilance. Once one thing goes wrong, you start to wonder about other things, and things that you maybe would have overlooked somewhat now seem to be amplified, especially when you sit and dwell on it for a long time. So my guess is you came home and that's all you could think about. You sat there and whatever you were doing, you were just sitting there thinking about, you're playing the scene over and over in your head, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's affecting you more and more and more. So now you've gotten to this point now where you're starting to interpret every little interaction you've had in the first couple of days, and you're wondering, I wonder if they like me. Do they not like me? What did I do wrong? So, that's I'm guessing where you're kind of at. And it's now day 4 or 5? So you need to just bring down the emotion and not be analyzing everything you do and thinking that they have a problem with just you. Unless you've done something extremely inappropriate or dangerous, it's highly unlikely that they're singling you out. Again, it's kind of, I'm guessing it's just more the way you're internalizing it. Remember, they're trying to get a bunch of people through this process as quickly as they can, so things are going to seem intense. It's not always about you. They just have a lot of people to get through training. Maybe they just got done training a bunch of people, and now they got your group that they're training, and maybe there's another group after that. Who knows? But again, don't make it just about you. Second, if they had a problem with you not being able to do the job, they probably would have pulled you aside and told you so. So don't sweat this. Just think about how you accept feedback. Think of, why you reacted the way you did. Is there something that triggers you to have this sort of emotional shutdown? It sounds like you have a pretty strong flight reflex. So what makes you want to quit when you're faced with a little adversity? So if you can figure that out, you can learn how to manage it. Remember, it's just feedback. They're just telling you some information that you need to know. Third, is this just a trainer or your actual supervisor? If it's just a trainer, then again, they're probably training dozens, maybe hundreds of people all year. They're not there to build close relationships with the people they're training. They're just there to get you in and out. That's it. When you get to your actual team and start doing your job, things are going to settle down. You'll get into a routine, a pattern. You'll get to, develop close relationships with friends or coworkers and become friends with them and your supervisor, and they'll be able to help you out. So, your trainer is just there to make sure you can do the basics and then move on. Fourth, and this one I kind of saved for later because I really want to emphasize this. I really think you need to definitely see a therapist or a counselor. Having suicidal thoughts is extremely dangerous, and that really needs to get under control. And you definitely need to talk to someone who specializes in dealing with this type of situation and can really help. I don't think quitting your job is what is causing you, or quitting your job or having trouble with this job is what is causing you stress. I think the fact that you're having suicidal thoughts tells me that something else, if you didn't have this job, was going to trigger that eventually. This job is just sort of something that helped bring these emotions out from wherever you had buried them. So you need to kind of deal with these underlying causes, and really only a professional can help you out there because, it's great that you're on Reddit kind of seeking advice for this, but I think this is kind of something bigger than what we can hear on Reddit can really respond to. So, I really highly encourage you. I just really encourage you to do that because, you have a lot. Obviously, you have some talent because they wouldn't have given you a job if you didn't. So, and that brings me to my last point. You got to have some faith in yourself. You got this. Don't give up. If you quit now, you'll actually be doing yourself more harm than good. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to learn things about yourself in this first job. And if you quit, you'll be denying yourself those opportunities. All you'll be doing is teaching yourself to run away when things don't seem or feel right. And I'm not sure how old you are, or if this is your first full-time or part-time job, but, one of the biggest things I think that new employees need to learn, and, people new to the work world need to learn, is you want to go through adversity. You want things to challenge you. You don't want to seek the easy road. Stress can be used to your advantage. You can, if your trainer is a jerk, that's your opportunity to prove them wrong. Not just for them, but for yourself. Don't let them get the best of you 3 days in. You're going to be working for a long time. And if you ever want to have the chance of ever getting anywhere successfully, whether that's in the work world or in relationships or anything, you need to be able to get through tough times without immediately running away. And by the way, you said you were enjoying the job the first few days, so you know this might be a fun job for you. I think you see that this can be a good thing for you. So you can't just let one bad day, make you want to just quit and move on. You're gonna have a lot more bad days. This is just the first of thousands of bad days you're gonna have. It's just that's kind of how life is. One thing that's interesting about jobs is jobs become problematic when people turn them into that becomes their sole focus in life. But jobs can also teach you a lot about life. So, it can give you some tools to really deal with the things you're going to come across in life in general. So, it's a good teaching opportunity for you. So again, and who knows what skills you're going to learn? Who knows who you'll meet? I'm still friends with some of the people I met in my first job over 20 years ago. You don't know, maybe you're going to find something or pick up a skill that you didn't know you have, and that might turn into a long-term career for you. So, and it's at the end of the day, a job's a job. It's not your whole life, and it's not worth thinking a bad day at a job is worth, your entire life, because it's not. It's just a job. So anyways, I hope this helps. But please, seriously, you definitely seek some help, with your mental health. Fix the underlying causes, and things are going to work out. If you'd like to chat more, let me know. I'm more than willing to listen. Otherwise, good luck to you. If you enjoyed this video, please, give me a like, subscribe, share the video, whatever. And again, hit me up. Otherwise, good luck, and I'll speak to you some other time.